When I first started, I was in so many chat rooms and I would hear this guy say, here's all my rules. I never do this. I always do this. And then I'd hear another trader say, you know what? Never trade pre-market. Here one, only trade pre-market. And I'm just like, oh, geez, how am I going to be profitable? I don't understand what is important and what's not. Well, this is what's important. I've had many rules in my trading career throughout the past. It wasn't until these certain rules that really helped me become consistently profitable. First off, as a trader, when you start, you always hear people have rules. They'll say, I never trade pre-market. I always trade after hours. I only trade the first hour. I never enter when it's XYZ above a price. I always do this. I shouldn't do this. And you hear that constantly. And you may, like me, when I first started, take someone's rules right away. You're new, I get it. You're like, well, this guy's successful, so I'm gonna do what he's doing. And when you do that, you think you'll have success because you're following his rules. The little error that a lot of us make is we just don't know what we don't know. And we don't understand that those rules make him or her or they successful. Now, I didn't know this myself. I actually was trying to copy everyone's rules for the longest time, and it really messed up my trading because maybe I couldn't hold a stock for XYZ price, or maybe I wanted to be flexible with my risk, or maybe I didn't, or maybe when I was strict like they are, I ended up taking profits way too soon. This is what I want you to know. When it comes to trading, it wasn't until I started to really look at my own trading and go, you know what? I suck at trading pre-market. And when I nail it, it doesn't really move the needle anyway, because I size in appropriately because I know I'm usually not that great pre-market. And a rule that I need to make right now is make sure I charge my batteries before you record. But what I'm trying to tell you is when I recognize this, I start to create a rule, don't trade pre-market. And then I realized, you know what? I'm doing terrible after 11 o'clock. There's a new rule. Don't trade after 11. You know what? This setup that I like a lot because it's super shiny, but it doesn't work for me. That's a rule. That's not your setup. Don't trade that. Trade this only. Only size in maybe a third when you feel like it's your setup. That became a rule because I started to realize if I do that, I can mitigate my risk. Those rules helped me and they were personally made for me. You need to personally make your own rules. Don't use someone else's rules and put it on yourself. Because if you do that, you're trying to make yourself who you may not be, right? We're all different. There's so many ways to trade. So sure, have rules about cutting losses. Have rules about sticking to a plan. But within that idea of cutting losses, how you cut losses may be different from someone else. Make sure there's a rule there. Make sure there's rules to protect you. Rules to take profits, rules to stick to a plan, rules that signify a signal. And you need to stick to them. And one way you can stick to them is by writing them down and reading them every morning. I do that every morning. I read my rules and I read my mistakes and I want to know what I made a mistake. Is that a rule now? That's what you should be doing. And I know it's easy to say to stick to it, but I'm telling you, maybe find someone who is also trying to stick to their rules and check in with them every day. Hey, and just ask them one question. Not, hey, how much money did you make? Or how much did you lose? Or how good did you trade? Just ask them one question. Did you stick to your rules? Because that is part of your process. Because we're always about process over profits. So make sure to have rules that are made for you. Stick to those rules. Find an accountability partner. That way they can help you stay accountable. And let me know how that helps you in your trading by making sure that you like and subscribe this video, because that's gonna help us find more viewers like yourself. And another way you can make rules a little easier is find little shortcuts. Accountability partner. Maybe you don't trade after 11. Set an alarm. Set 3 alarms. I actually set an alarm. It said, as soon as it went off, it says, don't trade anymore. Find ways to remind yourself. Maybe you need to schedule a call with your spouse, your friend, every day at this time. So that way, hey, I can't be here right now. I need to be doing this. Find ways to make the rules stick, because the more you stick to your rules, the less likely you will fail, because it will help you stay consistent. And when you're consistent, you can actually figure out how to make tweaks and see results because you're tracking that. So good luck and God bless.